Alright crew, Abe the Cursed Chef is back, deep in the Ever-Gloom, where the air itself feels heavy. The oppressive silence here is a meal in itself, but not one I can taste. I stalk through the perpetual twilight, my boots crunching on what feels like rusted dust and broken glass. Every shadow seems to stretch and pull, almost alive, like the world is breathing around us. I unfurl my compact purification tarp, a specialized weave designed to repel environmental contaminants and provide a clean culinary zone. The faint metallic tang on my tongue is stronger today, a constant bitter reminder of this place's unique flavor profile. I set down my portable filtration unit, its low hum a tiny comfort against the vast, consuming quiet. As I secure the tarp corners with reinforced stakes, a strange, almost sweet ozone scent hits me. Overriding the metallic tang for a moment, I hesitate, my hands pausing on the last anchor point, my nose twitching. Was that just the filtration unit powering up, or something else entirely? A small, involuntary burp escapes me, unexpected and sharp. For a fleeting second, I see a single, nearly invisible spark erupt from my mouth, not vanishing, but sticking to the tarp surface. It glows with a faint, sickly green before fading, leaving a tiny, almost imperceptible scorch mark, smelling faintly of burnt sugar. The ozone smell intensifies, then vanishes completely. Did you catch that, crew? Did you see the spark? Or was it just the gloom playing tricks on my cursed senses? All right, crew. Today we're tracking the source of the rebirth embers, a truly impossible ingredient. I feel their telltale shimmer just ahead. I push through the petrified branches, their surfaces like cold, ancient stone. This place, it feels like a battlefield frozen in time. Every tree a silent monument. Here it is, a massive, gnarled trunk, riddled with deep, faded lore markings. I pull out my water-stained recipe notes, the parchment crinkling softly. The script here is almost identical to the purification ritual for the embers. I trace the symbols, feeling the rough, cold texture. My notes say these markings describe the ember's true, volatile nature. As I whisper the ancient words, a strange pressure builds in my chest. A quick, soft burp escapes me, then another. Small, glowing sparks, like fireflies, release with each one, briefly illuminating the arcane script. Before winking out, they smell faintly of ozone and something metallic. I pause, surprised by the sudden light. That felt wrong. The air around me feels subtly warmer now, a faint internal hum starting deep inside my bones. It's a low thrum, almost like a sleeping engine. What do you think, Prue? Is this a good sign, or are we just getting started? The whispers from the shadowed locals spoke of the ember's sentient defenses, a lethal warning I now hold in my hands. This discarded shell, large and jagged, tells a story of intense heat and raw power. Its surface, a mosaic of obsidian and scorched crimson, feels like a warning against touching. I lean closer, inhaling deeply. A faint, acrid smoke clings to it, mixed with something metallic and sharp. My trusty multi-tool, its edges keen, glints under the dim light as I begin to scrape. I work carefully, peeling away layers of fine, dark residue. The air around it feels warmer than before, a dry heat radiating not just from the shell, but from the very space it occupies. My stomach rumbles, a familiar sign of the curse at work. A small burp escapes me, and a tiny spark, barely visible, leaps from my lips. It touches the fine dark dust clinging to the shell's ridges, and a miniature flash, like a firefly, erupts. The sudden bright pop makes me flinch, my hand hesitating for a moment. The smell of ozone, sharp and fleeting, follows the flash. This isn't just a shell. It's a volatile piece of a living furnace. What do you think, crew? Is this heat getting stronger, or is it just me? All right, crew. We're deep in the petrified wastes, trying to coax a new ingredient from this silent, stony realm. The air here smells like ancient dust and cold, unmoving stone, a scent that prickles the back of my throat. Every shadow feels like a frozen gaze, watching us from the petrified trees that twist into silent, grotesque shapes around us. Pipin's fingers are a blur over the field stove's intricate clockwork and brass valves, his movements precise and silent. He's optimizing the pressure, trying to keep the heat sink stable against the heavy, ambient energy that seems to radiate from the colossal, slumbering form nearby. That massive, silent presence is why we need absolute quiet. The stove itself whines, a low, struggling sound, its internal mechanisms fighting the oppressive stillness. My stomach rumbles, a familiar warning, and I try to swallow it down, but a spark jumps from my lips with a quiet, sharp burp. Hitting the stove's delicate heatsink, the temperature gauge flickers wildly, the needle jumping erratically across the red zone, then back, then forward again. The stove whines louder, a high-pitched protest against my cursed interference, threatening to betray our position to anything listening in these silent ruins. This cursed interference is getting worse. How do we keep this purification going without waking our stony friend? All right, crew, Abe here, and today we're tackling something truly wild. The legendary rebirth embers. You see that pulsing core, nestled deep within these ancient gnarled roots, glowing like a tiny sun. This is where the magic happens, deep in this forgotten grove where the air hums with ancient power. My taste buds are screaming for this one, even if I can't taste it myself. I grip my specialized harvesting blade, its obsidian edge shimmering with purification runes. The air here smells like old, smoldering fire and something strangely sweet, like birch sugar mixed with ozone. I lean in, focusing, feeling the subtle, rhythmic vibrations from the core against my fingertips. This is delicate work, requiring absolute precision. I take a breath, steady my hand, and plunge the blade, aiming for a clean, swift cut. Whoosh! A sudden, searing blast erupts, not from the core, but from my mouth. It's a torrent of pure, raw flame, hotter and brighter than anything I've ever expelled before. The world goes white, then black, for a terrifying second. I stumble, losing my footing completely, tumbling hard into a thorny thicket. My arm scrapes against the rough, glowing bark, leaving angry red lines. The taste in my mouth is pure ash and ozone, metallic and bitter, like licking a battery. My tongue feels like sandpaper, dry and raw. The rebirth embers pulse, almost mocking me, their light intensifying. Did you guys catch that energy signature? What do you think just happened? The ancient canyon winds whisper around me, a low, guiding hum that masks my every breath. I move with the air currents, my steps light, almost unheard against the shifting ochre sand. Towering, eroded rock formations loom, their surfaces carved by millennia of wind. My fingers, steady and precise, finally brush the rebirth embers. They pulse with a deep crimson light, radiating a dry, mineral heat that tingles against my skin, almost like static. I scoop the volatile ingredient, each ember a tiny, living heart, into the reinforced containment unit. The unit instantly warms, its surface already radiating a fierce heat, a dull orange glow seeping through its thick, insulated walls. A familiar, intense heat blooms in my chest, a low thrumming that now perfectly matches the contained embers. I feel a jolt, a sudden surge of raw, untamed energy coursing through my veins. Tiny, involuntary sparks leap from my fingertips, uncontrolled. They dance across my precious recipe notes, crisping the edges, leaving small, dark scorch marks. The smell of burnt paper fills the air, sharp and acrid, mingling with the metallic tang of raw energy. I watch the sparks, a slight tremor in my hand. This is a new level of reaction, more aggressive than before. Crew, are these rebirth embers amplifying my internal heat? Or is this a completely different kind of cursed effect taking hold? All right, crew, another day, another impossible ingredient purified. We're in the field processing tent, the air still humming faintly from yesterday's portal closure. My tasting spoon, cool and familiar in my hand, holds a small piece of seared crimson feather, infused with a single glowing core. It smells like ancient suns and metallic ash, a scent that prickles the back of my throat. I notice the tent fabric seems to shimmer just at the edges of my vision, a lingering effect from the last anomaly. I hesitate, a small tremor running through my fingers as I bring the spoon closer. This one feels different. The heat radiating from the morsel is intense, almost alive. I place the perfectly seared piece onto my tongue. A massive internal flare erupts, a sudden, searing heat that makes my eyes water instantly. I cough, a torrent of bright, sustained sparks bursting from my mouth, illuminating the tent in a fleeting, fiery glow. The tasting spoon clatters against the table, forgotten. The world around me pulses, a deep, rhythmic thrumming that vibrates through my bones. Every shadow seems to deepen, every light source intensifies, and the very air shimmers with latent, fiery energy. My perception shifts, colors becoming sharper, almost painfully vibrant. It's like seeing the world through a lens of pure, raw heat. Did you guys see that flash? My hands tremble, a strange internal heat making my grip unsteady on the high-pressure burner's regulator. I need a perfect sear on this phoenix wing, but my body feels like a furnace itself. A small fiery burp escapes me, making the burner hiss and sputter violently. The pressure gauge immediately jumps, redlining in an instant. This feels wrong. Pippin, bless his frantic soul, is already wrestling with the heat sinks. His small, specialized tools smoking from the intense thermal overload. He mutters about optimal dissipation and critical thresholds as he tries to stabilize the system. Another burp, hotter this time, and the burner's flame flares, licking at the air with an unnatural hunger. The smell of ozone mixes with the faint metallic tang of overheating machinery. I hesitate, my fingers hovering over the control, unsure if I can dial it down without causing a complete shutdown. The phoenix wing on the pan begins to shimmer, its vibrant feathers pulsing with an inner light, almost like it's trying to reignite itself. Pippin shouts, a desperate plea for more time, but the heat sinks are glowing cherry red. The entire setup groans, a deep metallic shriek. Then, with a blinding flash and a deafening roar, the high-pressure burner explodes, sending shrapnel and superheated steam everywhere. The air fills with the acrid scent of burnt metal and something else, something like bird feathers and raw power. Did anyone else feel that sudden drop in temperature right after the blast? All right, crew, Abe here, and today we're finishing up the garnish for our Phoenix's Kiss dessert. The air in this chamber always feels thick, almost like breathing in liquid fire, with that faint, metallic tang of deep earth and brimstone. My skin is already flushed, a deep crimson from purifying the main ingredient. But these rebirth embers, there's something else. I grip the reinforced mortar and pestle, the heavy stone cool against my palm for a fleeting second. I press down, grinding the last few glowing shards. A wave of intense heat surges through my body, making my vision swim for a moment. I hesitate, my grip tightening. This isn't just warmth. It's a furnace inside me. Then, a powerful, fiery burp rips out, a low rumble that feels like it's shaking my teeth. It's so hot, I actually see the fabric of my chef's jacket smoke and then glow, leaving a small, perfectly round hole right on my sleeve. The smell. It's like burnt sugar and volcanic ash, strangely sweet and dangerous. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. The heat is still radiating from my core. Did you guys get a clear shot of that effect on the jacket? All right, crew, watch closely as I plate this. The phoenix wing, purified and ready. I carefully slide it onto the obsidian dish, the surface still warm from its own internal energy. The air around me shimmers, a faint heat radiating from the dish, making the kitchen tiles ripple just slightly. I can smell a faint, sweet ash, like burnt sugar mixed with something ancient and powerful. It's a scent that clings to everything now, a constant reminder of the portal. I reach for my recipe journal, the leather cover cool against my fingertips, a stark contrast to the warmth in the room. My pen glides across the page, noting the precise temperature fluctuations and the exact moment the ingredients stabilized. This is crucial data for breaking the curse. I pause, just for a moment, noticing my own breath. It carries a faint, continuous shimmer, almost like heat haze in the desert. It's not smoke, but pure, ethereal warmth, visible even in the dim light. I finish the entry, detailing the rebirth embers effect, the final observation for this impossible ingredient. As I close the journal, the soft click echoes in the quiet room. I glance at my reflection in the polished steel of the oven door. My eyes, they hold a subtle, persistent glow now. A deep, fiery orange, like embers banked in a forge. It's not painful, just present. This is the curse, evolving again. What do you see, crew?